Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing great today. Appreciate those of you who watch this video. I hope you enjoy it. Also appreciate those of you who have subscribed. Thank you very much. Considering you all know about the quality of my videos. Anyways, let's get into the Breakfast Club here. If you ever want to know what Gen X was like or what the 80s was like in school, that Breakfast Club is a great example of what life was like in the 80s, especially in school. So if you want a little taste of it, watch The Breakfast Club. You have some great actors in this one. You got Judd Nelson. I guess Judd Nelson was kind of like a prick throughout this whole shooting of this movie because he wanted to stay in character. So even when they were just hanging out, off screen without being on the camera, he stayed in character. And his character in this one's kind of like a bully-like type guy. He's kind of like a not a very nice person, this one. So I can only imagine how it would be with him acting like that way all the time. I guess he was always giving Molly Ringwald a hard time because in the movie, in the script, his character and her kind of butted heads throughout. So I guess he decided to take that off screen as well. Feel sorry for her to have to deal with that for the whole screen. You got Emilio Estevez, that's the jock. So you got a great cast in this, and basically it's like a roll call of the social group in high school. You got your geek or nerd, you got your prep girl, your popular girl there, and then you got your jock, and then you kind of got your goth girl, and then Judd Nelson's guy is kind of like the loner dude, like doesn't really care about school, kind of like your druggy kind of guy, I guess. Don't really know what's the proper name for him, but you do got your whole social class in this social hierarchy in this movie, and they're all stuck together and they all have to interact. And that's probably about the best part of this movie is how these people from these different social groups are interacting with each other, communicating their prejudices with each other, and how they bring in and those experiences, that background, and how they kind of like how they contribute to the conversations that they have. The conversations in this movie, because this movie is just basically one long, huge conversation with little adventures here and there. Either how they sneak to the locker to get some marijuana, to get some drugs, or then they take time to do some dancing and stuff like that. In between those big action scenes, it's mostly a big conversation. And I believe that the writers, John Hughes, did a very good job of capturing the essence of what these conversations are like. Felt like these conversations are very realistic and accurate on how kids at that time period were talking about, especially when they're talking about sex. There's a lot of conversations about sex and the shame of being a virgin in a high school, how that is kind of plays into your popularity if you've had sex or not, and if you actually had sex, the idea that you might still be a virgin, but if you come off of somebody who's like a player or had it, your social ranking kind of climbs in high school, which is kind of weird, I guess, in a way. I don't know, I say weird, but you would think that, if girls were saying that they had sex, they would come be known as a slut, and it might hurt their popularity a little bit. But with the guys, if they admit that they've been sleeping around a little bit, they become more popular within the guy group. You kind of get that feeling with the conversations they have. These conversations, I either had it with my friends or I've had or overheard other people talking about it. So all these conversations are conversations that teenagers in the 80s have. I don't know I'm in my 40s now. I do got kids. I guess I could ask them. I don't know if I really want to ask them about what kind of conversations they have with their friends. But, back in the 80s, these conversations that they're having are very realistic, I feel. This movie also hits home about the parent-child relationship. This movie kind of makes it seem like parents are too overbearing on all of them. Like the pressure that these parents are having on these kids are too much, that they're expecting too much of their children. Some are kind of positive, like with the Michael, the nerd Michael. I can't never remember his last name for some reason. There's been a lot of movies too, but with the Michael character, the nerd character played by Michael. You know, they expect him to get good grades, and that pressure kind of mounts on him to do whatever it takes to get an A. And the whole reason why he's kind of in detentions because him kind of letting that pressure get to him, and so he brings like an air gun to it. So kind of got like the ideas of the first inkling of these school shootings could be possible from this movie. I don't know if there was any school shootings in the 80s. I don't remember any, but I was kind of young during the 80s, during this time period. But I don't remember anything exploding like that on the news. But it just kind of hinted that this kind of action is a possibility. So maybe they're predicting the future a little bit with this one. Like, hey, maybe you should, watch a little bit closely how our children are acting. A little warning here about 20 years before it seems like these shootings, unfortunately, are becoming more and more popular, or not popular, but more and more common. Popular is probably a bad word to use, but more in common. Then you have like the jock, Emilio Estevez's dad, always talking like how cool he was back in school and the pressure put on him. So it seems like a lot of these kids' actions that they're doing in school are in some way related to how they're being raised and treated at home, how the home life affects their school life. And there's probably something to say about that in reality, not only in this movie, but in real life. I think again, John Hughes does a very good job of capturing that in this movie, and his writing is very solid and very tight. Found this movie very believable, and these characters are very relatable, that you can relate to them and understand where they're coming from and how what motivated them to take the actions they have. I think it's very well written in this one, very clarified. And overall, I enjoyed The Breakfast Club. Like I said, there's not a lot of action in it. It's like one long conversation with some breaks. Either you have them going to the locker so they could get some drugs, and then you got the whole dancing scene going on. I think that's really about the two big action pieces, and I'll put that in quotations. And then this movie does then hit on another kind of like relationship between not the parents, but the teachers and the students, as you got probably a prick, probably the most prick teacher, being over Saturday school. Maybe that's why he's there, because he's the meanest teacher there is in school. But you do got a small sample of teacher-student relationship. This movie is designed to make it look like the grown-ups are all kind of bad people, and these kids are innocent bystanders, that they're the good guys, and the parents are mean and oppressive. This how this movie is kind of set up. So if I would say there's probably one little negativity, it would be that part of the movie. But you can kind of understand where it's coming from, and that relationship between parent and child. Anyways, I recommend this one. Highly recommend this movie. I believe it's still on Netflix at this time, so check it out if you have the chance. I think you'll enjoy it no matter what generation you're from. I think I enjoy it more now as an adult as I did when I watched it younger, in my teenage years. I don't really know why. Maybe I'm just reminiscing about the past. I don't know. But I do find that I did like it more. Appreciate the writing of John Hughes more in this one, and the way he attacked his storyline. The story did a very good job. And of course, all the actors in here was like big names in the 80s. And so they do an excellent job. We got excellent cast in this movie. So yeah, check it out. Have a great day, and bye.